thank you so much for finding time to speak to us. How are you?
I'm fine. How are
Happy
you?
New Year.
Happy New Year.
I am happy to see you today.
Good to see you.
Mwaka umeanza fiti?
Salama kabisa.
Everything is in order?
Everything is good.
I know you are a great champion of matters young women, or rather women as well as youth. What exactly are you looking forward to build in your legacy?
I don't know if I want to build a legacy. For me, it's about the everyday impact, the every minute impact. If I'm able to support young people in the initiatives they have, because I know young people are supported to some point on some very high levels, but what about the young person who is just starting out? For example, that young person can't apply for a grant, they can't be able to get some support from a venture capitalist. So myself as Charlene, how can I support them, and even with the other different initiatives I'm doing? Yes, that is what I look at.
Making an impact in your small way.
Yes.
That is what you're seeking to do. It's a beautiful thing to hear from you. Where do you draw these traits from? Is it from family or it's a self-drive?
I really have to tell you this, that I draw my strength from God and from the Word of God. As well, my family are a very strong foundation for what I do. My siblings are very supportive. I can always go to them whenever I face any challenge or I want to share any joy. I also have a very supportive team that I work with through my foundation and through the Young People's Network International. So I can say those are the areas that I draw my strength from.
I know we are living in a generation which doesn't, or rather young people who shy off and shy away of telling of stories of God. What is your word to them? Because I know many of them are Christians, but they don't want to come out on this.
I think if any one of us sits and thinks, and if you reflect upon your life, and you can even think of how some opportunities came your way, some connections came your way, maybe even how your school fees was paid. If you look at those kind of things, you can realize sometimes you can't explain or put a finger to it and say it's because of this person or it's because I did this. And those are things, if you look at, you can only attribute to God. And another thing is, because before I was just living my own private life, before I started working with the young people, and I can't tell you that that's something I sat down and decided to do one day. I had never thought I was going to work with the young people. It's not something that had crossed my mind. I was in the hospitality industry. I was just going about my business. But just one day, something in me just started having this love and concern for young people, and I fully attribute that to God. So I think as young people, if we can look at that aspect within our lives, we can truly see these elements of God in our everyday life.
Is it something you started now, or it's something which you've been doing back in the background, in the private life, during your campus life, or it's something which has cropped up now?
What exactly?
Championing for young people and leadership skills.
That's something that started in 2022, around August, September there. That's when I started working with the young people. We touch people's lives directly and indirectly because I'm also very active on social media.
Yes.
So there are many young people who reach out to me on social media. Sometimes I go for events and young people tell me, I saw you doing beekeeping and I decided to start doing it. And I find that to be very powerful. So it's not something I can at this point put a number to or a quantity to, but I think we're slowly and surely impacting the lives of young people.
Beekeeping and smart agriculture.
Yeah.
How do you think it's going to change the lives of people, and especially the food security of this country? This is one challenge we have year in, year out. How is it going to change the lives of our people, and especially the young people, the impact on it?
Actually, the average age of a farmer in Africa is 65 years. So this is a generation that is slowly fading away. So as young people, if we don't come and take charge of this space, and yes, from production, but also across the whole agricultural value chain, there's so much that can be done: value addition, content creation, marketing, aggregation. So as young people, we really need to step into this space. And yesterday I was in a meeting and one of my colleagues said something: you may need a doctor once a year, you may need a presenter maybe every other day,
yes,
but 3 times in a day you need a farmer, because you need to eat. Yes. So this is why as young people, we really have to get involved and get into this space, because everyday people need to eat.
That is
so
true.
even if we're looking for sources of income for our young people, then this is where it will come from, because everyday people need to eat.
Yes.
So the best business to get into is the business of food. So I really think that's something that will make a difference for beekeeping, because it's something I do as a business myself.
Yeah.
It's something I want to show as a case study to young people, that even as we're encouraging you to get into the agriculture space, it requires a lot of patience. I've done my beekeeping business actively for about 1.5 years now, and I'm yet to break even. And if you actually talk to serious farmers in different areas of farming, they will tell you that it takes a lot of patience and time to be able to get it. But what really matters is the consistency.
We have young people who are not willing to engage with the soil, and especially you've spoken of being patient. We want insta money on social media and everywhere. We think that is where money is, and you're taking us back to the farm for us to get something out of this. Do you have like young people you're mentoring towards this, for them to mentor generations?
Yes. Already through Sparks Foundation, we have about 16 young people that we work with directly through different areas across the whole agricultural value chain, and they in turn mentor other young people. So we are starting with that mentorship with young people in terms of agriculture, but we also want to bring up, there are many young farmers whom we don't know about and we don't hear their stories, who are doing very well in the agriculture sector. So those are stories we also need to amplify, and I'd encourage even media stations such as TV47 to go out there to amplify these stories, because when we see the success stories, then we're going to be able to have more young people getting in the space.
You've said you've been into this over 1 year, and you're yet to break even. That means you need more for a young person, or rather for anyone to engage in this. They need resources, and this is the challenge. As you tell them, as you mentor them towards this, how about championing for this, for government at least to look into it and to pump resources into this agriculture, smart agriculture?
You know, the interesting thing in our society, there's a big communication breakdown. There's so many opportunities that are there for young people. For example, the Kenya Industrial Estate, they actually have a loan that has a very good, affordable interest rate that they're offering to young people. This is information even I myself was receiving last week. So if I'm getting it last week, then how do the young people know about it? So there's a big communication breakdown, because government has created so many financial facilities, and the Ministry of Youth is also working on the Nyota program that is about to come out, that will also be a financial facility for the young people. So I think as young people, we really have to take the initiative upon ourselves. Let's not wait for government to come and tell us or give us opportunities. The young people I've met who, they went and looked for their own partners, their own networks. They started attending events, if they're interested in agriculture, about agriculture. That's how they got to hear about, okay, there's this facility that I can use. There's this even human resource, maybe even technical support is what they need. So you have to go out there. You can't just sit in your house or sit in your room and expect everything will come to you. There is a lot of information online, but also there's a lot of information that has not gotten to the online space. So you really have to step out of your comfort zone.
Our comfort zone is where we have everything. Because again, as I said, everyone wants to be on Facebook, social media, TikToking, and not getting the right information. Do you think the bodies which we have in Kenya are working towards ensuring that young people get the right information on where and the direction where they need to be?
I think it's not about the bodies in Kenya working on getting the information out. It's us as young people. You have to grab the opportunity. You have to go. I'm sure if you talk to somebody, you know somebody who can connect you to an opportunity, or you can at least take you somewhere where you can hear about opportunities. And that's something we're also doing through the Young People's Network International, which we just launched. We launched our logo competition the other day. So we want to have that as a platform where young people can get information, but also share their ideas, so that then we stop having this communication breakdown that we have. Yeah.
All right, you've said you have smarts, but before we engage into that, I know we have climate change matters. And this is a big issue, not only in Kenya, but in the world. How are you helping young people to mitigate through this?
I have a video. That's a very long topic. I have a video on my YouTube page explaining all matters climate action and how young people can, the different ways that young people can be involved. And it starts with something small as planting trees or growing trees. Something as small as doing content creation about it or explanation. this year, not this year, sorry, this week we're having the United Nations Environmental Assembly. It's happening the whole week. And when I attended the first day, I actually asked myself, what's the difference between environment and climate? Because those, again, are two different conversations that are happening. And we had the major group on children and youth. It's actually, the representative is Kenyan, and she did such an amazing presentation of what children and youth need to do within the environment space. So the platforms are there. It's just about plugging in.
It's about young people plugging in. I know you have other initiatives which you have, including the foundation. Can you take us through it and what exactly you do with this?
Yeah. So the major thing is now when I started out in 2022 and I was having this idea of working with the young people, I thought to reach out to them and ask them, what exactly would you like me to champion for you in the space and capacity that I have? So I reached out to them on my social media platforms, and that is what birthed the 30 things. They sent me many things, but I narrowed down to what was repeated the most, what people gave us very significant. And so there's the 30 things agenda, which I've also shared on my website, which is charleneruto.com. So there, I don't want to go into each and every one of those things because I'm passionate about each and every one of those things. And some people told me, 30 things are a lot. But the young people face so many challenges and they have so many opportunities at their disposal. So to me, 30 things is just a drop in the ocean. In the ocean, and many of these things are culminative and they have a dynamo effect on each other. Like earlier you had mentioned about my work with girls and young women. And it's not something I had intended to get into, but as I was visiting different parts of our country, I realized, especially in our rural areas, in the villages, the girl child still faces a lot of issues. FGM is still a big issue, in as much as in our constitution, we rendered it illegal a very long time ago. It's still going on because it's a cultural practice. And by the time it comes out of our culture, it takes a bit of time. But that FGM, which then leads to early marriages, which leads to early pregnancies, and we also have menstrual health. That's still a big challenge for young people, and sexual reproductive health. So that matters for the girl child, and all matters youth empowerment and encouraging our young people are also within that. And something else is now the blood donation part, which I'm very passionate about. And, it didn't just happen that I was appointed one of the blood ambassadors. I've been regularly donating blood. And this is, just the usual text or call, or your friend tells you, my auntie is unwell and they need blood. And just because I know the importance of donating blood, then I go and donate. So just having that passion. And then I started interacting with other young people who are in that space. We started meeting with different players in the whole sector, and that's how then I got to be within the blood space. So there's that, and then everything agriculture and climate action through SMAC's foundation.
That's very good. I know you've spoken matters, girl child, and this is a topic which crops up each and every time, and in leadership. And it got me thinking, through this foundation, how many people, or rather, which areas are you targeting where they are experiencing the FGM, or rather the practice is still going on, and what exactly are you seeking to achieve, and who exactly are your target audience?
That's a very good question. So the thing with having 30 things is I can't do everything by myself. So I've started identifying partners across the different things that I do. So for example, with FGM Matters, we work with the Brighter Society Initiative. So they already have an establishment on the ground, and also with the European Commission. The EU ambassador, she's very passionate about Matters FGM and is always regularly holding different high-level discussions. And actually, that's why I came to learn about FGM. I didn't know there were 4 types of FGM, and different communities, do the cut in different ways. So there are different partners within each area that I'm slowly identifying. So Matters Girl Child, then I work with the partners who are already in different areas, so that I don't have to, again, reinvent the wheel, but we can just add more and amplify the voices of these CBOs, NGOs that are already working in the areas, so that we can be able to.
That means you have partners mashinani who get you information, or rather work with you to ensure that this is covered. All right, that is very good. And I hope here in Nairobi also you are helping girl child, and also in urban areas.
Yes, it cuts across, yes.
What exactly are you doing for us who are in Nairobi and other areas? And especially, I know women are never given second chance. When life beats them, they are never given a second chance in girl child, and they tend either to get into early marriage and they forget their dreams.
With the girl child issues, it cuts across whether you're in an urban area, you're in a rural area, and mostly we visit a lot of girls' schools.
Yes.
And I do mostly this as Charlene. We visit a lot of girls' schools. We get to talk to the girls. We do mentorship for them. They also get to expose their talents to us, and they show us what they can do, and we see how we can keep supporting them even in their education journey.
As we delve into girl child matters, I would like to take a short break, then we'll be back with this. All right, welcome back to Her Say. Today with me, Elizabeth Mutukonda. As I said earlier, my guest is Miss Charlene Ruto, telling us our initiatives. Charlene, there is something which cropped up while we were on the break, our own resources which you need to champion this cause and to ensure that we get to the right direction by helping these young people, giving them the second chance. And then it got me thinking, do you have resources and where do you draw them from?
Yeah, I think anybody who starts anything, they will tell you the first investment they have to make is from themselves. Before you go to ask other people to help you, yourself, if it really matters to you, it has to come from you. So firstly, I use my personal resources. Anywhere I go, I use my personal resources. I've had a few good friends from my family and other people who support me with whatever that they have. But I tell you, if today somebody could give me 50 million, oh my God, the things I could do for the young people. Because visiting different schools and everywhere, there's so much need. School fees is such a big need. I have so many requests for school fees on my desk. There are very few that I'm able to meet. And I feel so bad that I cannot support some of these young people. When it comes to what we were discussing earlier, matters of GM doing advocacy, trying to remove these practices from our communities, it also takes a lot of resources. I'm glad I'm working with partners who, some of them have resources, and all I do is come and amplify what they already have. But really, resources is something that we need in everything. And this is not just financial resources, human resources. I have a very small team I work with, and we are really stretching ourselves to try and do the best that we can do to make our way for the young people. So whatever we have, we give in, and we just pray God can keep supporting us to do more. Because I also don't believe everything is about going to government and saying government needs to do this. No, let's not have that attitude as young people. Let's be that, okay, government has done this. What can I do? What can private sector do? And then we have that community and connection so that we can achieve more.
One will tell you, you're saying this because you have something. Others will tell you that I have nothing from where I sit, even food I don't have, and I want to do something. So what happens to those people?
It's a very difficult and tricky situation. But I think what I've learned, young people reach out to me. They tell me what you're saying. I don't have this, but I'm passionate about this. And I try in my own way to see how I can support them or connect them to other people who I think can support them. So I think in community, we can really just all of us have this thought. Because I know last year we did something called the Nganya series. We went to Matatus and we were giving out Christmas. So I was starting to think there are so many people who work in the private sector. You're earning a good salary, you're living in a good house, but how often do you give back to the community? Even just paying for somebody fare, that's 100 bob, 200 bob. So I think that's why we have a big disconnect in our society. So those who are quote unquote have something, some of them are not willing to give, or they don't even know how to do it. So we need to create this platform where they know this is how I
it's
can do it.
It's not about me being given.
Yeah,
I can also give, no matter how small it is. I love that. I really love that. I know also, you've said the government doesn't have to do everything. And one will tell you that it's the responsibility of government to take care of its people. And especially on this, yes, you might be making a great impact. However, don't you think also you need, or we need policies which will allow you get more resources alongside other organizations?
Well, I think government's work is to create an enabling environment. So even for me as a youth champion, government would then be creating an enabling environment for me to work with the young people. I don't think resources can directly come from government, but coming more from private partners, from, you know, now when as Kenya we have good relations with maybe other countries, with other organizations, then when young people pitch to them, then it becomes easy for them to get the opportunity. So I think government resources is used to and, you know, government programs, because they also have their own programs. Like I know the Ministry of Agriculture have a program for youth called Enable Youth, where they do training for young people who are interested in farming, which is a very good program. But again, the number of people who apply for that program,
keyword, those who are interested.
Those who are interested. Yeah. You have to have the interest in agriculture, otherwise you won't make it.
You're right.
So but they have limited slots. So, but, you know, and the number of young people who apply, it's crazy. So just creating more of those opportunities, not just for government, for private sector, even me as Charlene, creating those opportunities is what is more important.
Do you think the government has created that environment which will allow young people thrive in these sectors, as well as the Girl Child and every other initiative you have?
Yes, I think government has really created that environment. The only thing missing is communication. Like I've told you about a program called Enable Youth. I don't know if you knew about it.
I've heard it here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a big problem of communication. Things are not communicated. People don't know of opportunities. And I mean, teams like TV47, you're in the communication space. So I'd encourage you, these are the things you need to keep amplifying and showing that these are the different programs government is running, private sector is running. I'm sure there's so many stakeholders in agriculture, there's AGRA, there's FAO, there's so many things they're doing as well that the young people are not aware of. So if we keep amplifying this, then the communication connection will become better.
I know you work closely with church. You've spoken of private sector, and I was wondering, while you're working, while you're delivering in different areas, does the church come in handy when you need them?
Yes, the church is very handy. You know, church creates it's a connecting point of young people from different areas, different schools, different walks of life. So church becomes, then there are many initiatives we've done with the church, and the church has given us the space for free to hold our meetings with young people and do our mentorship. And church is really accepted by the community. So I think the church space is very important, and that is what they are giving. You see, it's a resource,
yes,
but it's not a financial resource.
True,
but because they give us the space, the church, they give us the hall for free, we don't have to pay for it. So this is how I'm thinking that all of us, we need to play our part in society.
All right, that's okay. I know you've spoken of the blood initiative and being the blood ambassador in Kenya. It's a role which came with a lot of criticism, as well as people appreciating it. And you were explaining where this came from. However, someone would like to hear your journey with this and where exactly you're headed.
As I explained earlier about how I got into the role, and we have a target of 500,000 units of blood by June of this year. We are roughly at 300,000. And we are allowed to get blood from 1% of the population, but there was a story in the paper recently that there's not enough blood in Western Kenya, so the government is looking how we can increase this to 2%. I can tell you that we have a big problem with the rare blood types, especially the ones who have rhesus negative. This is now when we get the plea cases and people write to me on my social media that there's this case going on and we need this level of blood. And some of the stories are actually quite heartbreaking, especially when it comes to matters children and youth. For any surgery to happen in Kenya, blood is needed. And this is usually 3 to 4 pints of blood. When I sit and donate, I donated recently at Mount Kenya University, I can only donate 1 pint. As women, we can only donate 3 times a year.
Yes.
Men can only donate 4 times a year. So how many people do we need to donate to be able to meet the demand in Kenya? We need over 300,000 people to commit, and not just to donate once. We need people to become repeat voluntary blood donors so that we can always have blood in our blood banks. And recently we had the accident, the Embakasi incident, and we were really rallying people to come and donate blood because, you know, especially for the rare blood types, it becomes such an issue for them to be operated on or to go through surgery so that they can be able to actually go back to living a fulfilling life. So this is the demand, and that's what we are looking at doing with blood in Kenya. Also, there's a lot of myths about blood. Even within my team, some of my team members have told me, Aki, I fear if I donate, I'm going to die. I fear. there's such a fear as well. You know, there's also some cultures that don't believe in donating blood.
Yes.
So we have a lot to do in terms of advocacy and in terms of communication. We need people to understand that donating blood, you won't die. You'll be fine afterwards.
Now that you've spoken, I know young people. We have the larger number of young people who fear giving the blood. Also, there is an issue of where my blood will go, who is that person who is going to give my blood, how related will I be, how connected. Then there is also another matter which cropped up the other time about blood being sold. Yes, we donate, and tomorrow after we've taken it to various hospitals, it doesn't reach the people who are desired to get this blood. How do you ensure that our blood is safe?
Yeah, that is a big misconception and is a lie, a very big lie. If it's something that happened in the past, I think that story of selling blood was something 5, 10 years ago. But when it comes to the structure that government has created through the Kenya Blood Transfusion Service, it is a very seamless structure, and shortly we'll be releasing the vein, we call it the vein to vein documentary, so that it shows from your vein how does it move to the next person's vein, the whole process of how blood is. It is a very guarded process in our country. And you know, as Kenyans, even by the time you're thinking there, you're not thinking about that person who needs your blood, because we need to really have compassion for each other within our society. Am I going to donate blood for somebody who needs it, or am I going to start being concerned? No. Where is our mind? We need, first of all, to have the right mindset as young people and as Kenyans when it comes to blood donation. Because the number of cases I have on my desk, I mean, for people who need blood, especially the rare blood types, are so many. AB negative, A negative, O negative. Those are some of the blood types in the bank that are very low. Really? So right now, if something happened, something catastrophic happened, it would be a national disaster. So as young people, we need to really look at it from, am I helping someone? Am I supporting someone through the process? So let me leave it at, we're going to release a documentary very soon through the Kenya Blood Transfusion Service that will show the whole connection from vein to vein, so that people can even be more sure. But if I myself am donating, then I don't think anybody has an excuse not to donate.
Young people, again, they fear. But do you think they've gotten the right information towards this?
I think they have, because at Mount Kenya University, we collected 700 pints of blood. Those are 700 young people who donated. Those are 700 young people who want to make a difference in their society and actually to save a life. So I think we have the right information, and I've been sharing information slowly on my social media platforms. Again, blood is a scientific field. So even me, I am learning so much about the terms, the terminologies. So we're slowly disseminating information as it comes.
Some of the challenges you go through while you're advocating for this blood, as well as girl child, alongside other matters. Some of the challenges.
I think one of the challenges really is moving from one place to another. I wish I could be everywhere at once, but I'm only one person.
True.
So I think working with a team has helped with that, but just the transport, the logistics, the movement, the buying in from society, because many of the issues I deal with are societal issues, and so getting the buy-in of the communities from our fathers, our parents, even all the way to the young people are some of the challenges that we face. Of course, a lot of cyberbullying and misunderstanding of why we are pushing for these issues. But at the end of the day, for me, when my heart is convinced and I know what I'm doing it from my heart, then nothing else matters.
You've spoken of cyberbullying.
Yes.
Now, allow me to cut you there. I know very well this is something which happens in Kenya, and we have a society. Once you start something, there is someone who is waiting to type, keyboard warriors, to troll you and everything. How do you manage this?
Yeah, so first of all, I don't take them seriously. You don't know me. Recently, I was in Eldoret and I was buying something in a shop, and a guy was telling me he feared I would recognize him because he had trolled me on Twitter. And I don't know you. I don't follow what you're saying about me. I mean,
you don't follow those comments.
No. You know, and I just encourage any person. You know, don't take those comments seriously. Those people, they don't know you. They don't know what you're doing. They don't know the struggle you go through every day.
That is their problem.
To even put that thing together. So I think that is their problem. But the interesting thing is the keyboard warriors are there, but the people who write to me personally, you know, anything I've ever talked about, even something that was taken negatively. For example, I spoke about the way when I was in Daystar University, I used to do smoky kachumbari business. And really it went very negative, like, oh no, how can you be, what do you mean you're lying to us? And I don't know why, first of all, people would think I'd lie to them. I don't know why they think I'd come up with a story, because it is fully the truth. So there's that. But now whenever I go to a university, without a doubt, the young people seriously ask me, no, tell us, how did you manage to do that business? What profit did you make? What did you put it? What did you use?
On social media, you're trolling me.
Yes.
And on the other side, you want to know what I did.
This is it.
Yes.
So you see, there's a negative perception on social media, but when you meet people one-on-one, it's a totally different story.
So are we hypocritical as a society?
I don't know. I don't know.
I know very well you have a life and you come from somewhere. I'd like you to take us through your childhood memories. Some of the things you remember, both positive, but I want to start with the positive ones.
Yeah. I'm a family person. I love my family to bits and pieces. I would do anything for them. They've always been there for me. And in as much as my father has been very busy in terms of politics and growing in the political arena, he's also always been there. He always used to come home in the evening and have a meal at home, no matter whether he's gone for a dinner somewhere. And we have a conversation as a family. Also, my mom has really been, I mean, she's the woman of prayer. She's really been a pillar in our family, always there for us, praying for us whenever we're going through anything. So I really remember my childhood, and I love my siblings. We're a big family. So my siblings have always been there with me. We go through whatever we go through together. So yeah, that is how I really remember my childhood.
Everyone would tell you that a family is the backbone of everything.
Yes,
when the world is against you, you run to the family. Between your dad and your mom, who is a disciplinarian?
That's a tough question. I think they are both disciplinarians in their own way.
But there is someone between the two who must be tougher.
I think maybe because, as a young woman, my mom would relate with me more. So maybe she'd have tough conversations with me more. But my dad just says that one word and it's going this way or it's going this way.
Yes.
So maybe I'll put it at, it's in between. It depends on the situation.
Between the two, who is likely to lean when something is wrong, to lean towards you when you've done a mistake?
Oh, no. Those two, they're a unit.
Ooh.
No, they're a unit. It is nobody will lean your way.
No one will tear you like...
No. They're a unit. They work and operate together as a husband and wife should. So once you face them as a unit.
That must be tough. I don't want that, but it's the best thing.
Yes.
You've said that they've supported you in each and everything. Are there times you ever wanted to do something and they didn't agree to it?
Yes, there have been those times. The first time before, when I was working in the private sector and I wanted to quit my job and to go and do other things. I wanted to go and actually do mission work. And
Pastor.
I did, I was so passionate about mission, I wanted to go do. So I prayed about it and I was like, yeah, I'm going to tell them. So I went to talk to them and they told me, no, you can't. What do you mean? You can't quit your job. You have to keep working. And at that time I was very disappointed and heartbroken, but later I really came to see the sense. I think the thing with parents, you may not agree with them at the moment, but later you see the sense in what they were trying to do, because now I continued working, I continued gaining skills at the job. So that is one time that we disagreed.
You disagreed.
And I later thanked them.
Now you understand why they said
I do understand.
You should remain there.
Yes.
However, this is on a light note. The other day, we saw you being prayed for. And I know Kenyans, again, there are bitter human beings out there. Do you mind them trolling them? Trolling, you know them?
I don't know. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion.
Okay, thank you. Again, you've said one is a disciplinarian. They ever said that this doesn't sit well with you. But then, amongst your siblings, is there someone you love more than the other?
No, I love all my siblings the same way. We all interact well with each other. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Your last word on this segment, especially to young people who think they can do nothing to change their situation today.
I think it can be difficult, But don't give up. Don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. Turn to God. I really believe, because that's what I do. I will just tell you what I do. Turn to God. If you have a supportive family, a supportive friend, turn to them, and just spend time to reflect and see how you can move forward. And I do believe a way will be made.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I would like
Thank
us
you.
to do something after this.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Thank you.
for letting us hear your story
Thank you.
here in this beautiful program. Hase,
you.
thank you so much. Again, thank you so much for tuning in to this beautiful program. Hase, I'm Elizabeth Mutuku. Keep it TV 47.